The situation surrounding this Dandadan edit, as well as the voice actor AJ Beckles, the English voice actor for Okrun in Dandadan, is actually
Who's also black, by
continuing
the
to
way.
proliferate.
Right.
Things are still getting even crazier. If you haven't seen my prior videos on this topic, please consider watching them for additional context. Otherwise, you're definitely going to be out of the loop with everything that's happened. Another important thing to note regarding these sort of edits is that tensions have been building for literal years. I saw some people thinking that this was like the first time this sort of situation has occurred, and that's absolutely not the case, as what we're seeing happen now is really the culmination of Asian artists being sick of double standards and sick of how they've been getting harassed for literal years by the same groups of people that have these double standards, which is also something that I've been covering routinely on this channel for years. So many of you are probably very familiar with this stuff. But just to very quickly give a few previous examples, there was a situation where an Asian artist drew Nessa, and Nessa was depicted lighter than she's usually depicted, to which this
If all these examples are on Twitter, like, bro, it's like going to a nightclub that's 21 plus and wondering why everybody has their ass out, or why all the chicks have their ass, or going to a gay club and wondering why all the dudes have their ass out. Like,
Are you recording already?
received tremendous
Okay, well I can't say what
harassment.
yes, you can.
Another time, there was an artist who
No.
drew Kaya from Genshin Impact,
No, I
and
can't.
similarly, this artist was accused of lightening Kaya, to which this artist received also tremendous harassment. But on top of that, a bunch of people on Twitter ripping this person's art and editing Kaya to be darker than this artist depicted them as. Eventually, that artist deleted their entire account. There was
Like, bro,
I think that, well, I know that this is not the most popular thing to say, but I think certain people need to get thicker skin.
like, you
Like,
know how toxic
It's
Twitter
not
is.
right. Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying that it's right that people are demeaning your art and all of that stuff. It's not. But at the same exact time, like you put it out there and it's going to be criticized, whether it's going to be constructive or just negative criticism. You got to understand that when you do it. When I was uploading those cosplay pictures of us to Reddit and we getting all those views and stuff, like we had some good. What do you call this? We had some bad ones.
It's like, imagine if I crashed out and I deleted my Reddit account because someone called me Nigobito or Nick Luke.
Yeah,
Like, what in the world is going on?
What? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Like it's just this day and age, everybody's so sensitive that it's so easy to like offend somebody just by existing next to them. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but
another
you shouldn't be deleting
situation
your
where an
account.
artist drew Kaya from Genshin Impact as well as D-Luke and some of the female characters. Maybe that's like Jean and Lumine or something. And as you can see, the art is literally in black and white. But that didn't stop these weirdo Twitter police, these terminally online freaks, from harassing this artist, saying that they didn't draw Kaya dark enough, despite once again the art literally being in black and white. And they insulted this artist and took the art, editing it to make Kaya black. For some reason, they also made D-Luke black as well, seemingly just to mess with and harass the artist. The artist even asking them to stop, to which they doubled down. And ultimately, the artist decided to delete their entire account.
Why? Just ignore that person. Who gives a fuck?
Like, and the crazy
Like,
part is,
I literally make YouTube videos damn near every single day, and not every single comment is a good comment. So what? I give it a thumbs up. Thank you for the engagement. Keep
and it's
moving.
not even like I'm agreeing with the
Like-
people who are doing the harassing. Like,
Oh, yeah, they're wrong for that.
but you're gonna delete your entire account because someone colored your original drawing.
As you can see from one of the final tweets that artist made, they were talking about how these people were causing them tremendous amounts of stress, and all they wanted to do was post the art that they made for people and themselves to enjoy. There's actually even more to that situation without jumping down the entire rabbit hole, but one of the main people who harassed that artist would go on throughout the years to harass numerous other artists, also make a bunch of alt accounts where they would harass people and continually play victim, and doing this really weird thing where they would constantly change their age. Sometimes they would say they're like 16, then they'd say they're 13, things like that. And a lot of people would defend this person, saying like, oh, they're just making edits, it's not a big deal. But eventually they became so notorious for all of this stuff, including one of the final situations being when they harassed a Lumine artist and tried to get her to take her life, that nobody was defending this person anymore. And they had been completely exposed by various people on Twitter, including myself in a video that I made covering the situation, and the harasser getting a taste of their own medicine and going on to delete every single one of their accounts. I'll give you one more final example here as something that's a little bit different from the sort of things that we've covered so far, and then we'll move on to the current news. So in this final example, there was an Asian artist who drew ship art of Genshin
And
Impact.
it's interesting because the example he used was one person who was bullying all these people, but like he's making it seem like it's something that's constantly happening, I guess. Because at the beginning of the video, he mentioned that this is something that I guess the Japanese community has been dealing with for a while.
Characters to which they got harassed for simply drawing straight ship art. The people harassing them all offended that this artist was not drawing Yuri. To be quite frank, all this stuff is so petty and stupid that even just explaining it is making me like in disbelief, even though I've talked about this stuff before. It's just all so weird, man. I seriously don't know what's wrong with these Twitter police types of people. And keep in mind, those are only a few examples of videos I've made covering this sort of thing for years. There's probably well over a dozen videos I've got on topics like this. And so after years of this stuff going on, people are sick of artists getting harassed for drawing a character a bit lighter, etc., etc., and the double standards that Twitter police have when they're darkening characters. This once again now taking us to the recent situation with the Dandanon art, and how many people in Japan were calling this a racist depiction, to which the English voice actor for Okarun changed his profile pic to that depiction of Okarun with a darkened skin, but it being a very momentary thing, I believe lasting less than 24 hours, as many people in Japan began to call for this person to lose their job, and other people dug up
Why? Let me see. Please spread word. This is a declaration by overseas voice actors. By the overseas voice actors that they support the racism that disrespects the original art by turning characters black and excluding Japanese people. So how is this racist? How is a 16-year-old drawing their own depiction of a Japanese fictional character racist, first of all?
Yeah, but them drawing Killer B isn't racist.
Like, and
come on, bro.
And second, how is this excluding Japanese people when this is like probably the #1 anime out right now that's exported from Japan and is probably being watched probably not majority in English because it's on Netflix and most Americans are probably going to watch it in English. Like,
I mean, regardless of what they watch it in, it's Japanese media, so they're.
And apparently it's going to. Apparently this is from a Japanese person because it's translated or from Japanese as well. And so I'm assuming people are going to take this more as like a broad opinion from the general Japanese public because it's in Japanese and on Twitter. Let's take it all into context. This is all on Twitter, so let that paint a very good idea of the mindset of the people that are having this conversation online.
Racist tweets that this voice actor had made.
Wait, I didn't read the bottom part. It expressed blasphemy against the original work and discrimination against Japanese people.
Discrimination against Japanese people. I bet you it's some overweight dude that never goes outside.
This is an international issue. Officially, please remove this voice actor from his role immediately. I want to know how this is discrimination against Japanese people. I want to see a Japanese person legit creating the logic behind that. Because I don't know how you can understand the context of what's going on and then say this is discrimination against Japanese people.
Because they don't understand the context of what's going on.
And I don't think they give it to him either. And it's like this is a show that's taken influence from like a bunch of different cultures too. Like it's in their music, it's in the opening. It's like I think in the last episode of Dandadan, like after the ending, they were making a comparison about how in Latin America the chupacabra is that version of their kappa. So even in like the lore that they're creating for this anime, they're taking inspiration from other cultures, but their people are just as conservative as like what. Yo,
and other people
how it is, man.
Dug up racist tweets that this voice actor had made, once again pointing out double standards.
Yeah, Len was showing me a clip of how the opening, or not the opening, but the dance that Momo does in the opening for Dandadan is basically choreography by from Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I saw. Literally, when the first episode came out, or whenever the opening song came out. Anyway, that was one of the first things that was trending on my YouTube and TikTok. We should talk. If anything, we should talk about why Japanese are excluding black people. Let's talk about that. I think that's a real good. That's a good question. Why are the Japanese?
I wouldn't even say all Japanese. I think that whatever Japanese guy there is, what he's doing is
You're right. This is
generalizing
Twitter.
it,
This is Twitter.
and it's trying to. It's a like it's an unfortunate thing that it is a topic, but like most people on Twitter are neckbeards that don't really have anything social. That's their social life is the internet. They're
Mhm.
chronically online. Like that dude, I'm pretty sure. Even though the only people that feel like he speaks for all of Japan or Japanese people are other people that are chronically online all day.
Yep, that is true. I'd probably have to go. I would go find the tweet, but his account's gone. But if I was able to go look at the tweet, I would make a good bet that a lot of people that retweeted and liked the post were probably also Caucasian Americans. Majority of them, anyway.
Yeah, like this is something where like if you ask people on the street, they'd probably be able to give you a better answer than some dude that probably doesn't leave his house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like theoretically, it's just fan art again. It's not really that crazy, but people are gonna make it that crazy because people like to be emo, and for some reason, being racist is emo and funny to some. Again, I don't really understand it, but sure.
The Japanese tweet demanding for AJ to lose his job now has over 127,000 likes on Twitter and over 62 million views on Twitter. For comparison, just to
24K
He's not
retweets.
gonna. He's not gonna lose his job.
He's not gonna lose his job. He just.
I don't even
But the
know
crazy
why
part is he
people are even
deleted his
trying.
Twitter. The voice actor.
2 days ago when I talked about that situation,
Probably.
that tweet had
I
around
mean, his agent probably
17,000
told him
likes.
to
In
do
other
something
words,
like
the
that for crowd
situation, as
control,
mentioned
but, I mean,
previously,
Yeah, you probably right.
like Crunchyroll and them boys, they're not finna fucking for what?
Entertainer for what?
If they fire him, then they're gonna do more damage to the community than help
Yeah,
it.
shit. You thought that you got a lot of
Like, it's an
retweets on
ignorant
that?
fucking
Shoot.
tweet. It's an ignorant tweet. If you fire this man over some shit like that, like Crunchyroll's gonna be cooked, and they know better not to try to even go down the little race road. The race road, you never want to do that. You're gonna be cooked because now you're gonna have people from all walks of life that's going to actually, come back and be on the black people side. At least some of the more woke people, be it Caucasian or whatever, hell, even some Japanese people. And then it's just not gonna really look good for it.
No, it is not
Let's put
gonna
it that
look
way.
good because
Yeah, them Anime Frontier tickets gonna be $10.
oh shit,
Them joints gonna be $10. They're gonna have Otto, Lisa, and Utada Hikaru performing.
shit. I'd still go to it.
Yeah, you might have to go to the
Man,
might have to put a little hood on and pull up.
I'm gonna be front row. I ain't even gonna put it. If
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna be
Utada
front row
Hikaru,
too. I'm gonna be in cosplay, boy. They don't know I'm there.
Hikaru didn't do anything wrong. That was Crunchyroll.
She did. She didn't at all. Crunchyroll did though. You know how people are. I got a brand, brother.
Man.
is continuing to proliferate, and
No
AJ
razor.
has also taken his next action as well, that being deleting his entire Twitter account, although it does seem to be a temporary thing based off
Yeah,
statements that he
he's-
has made on his Blue Sky account that we'll take a look at in a moment. Before we do that, here's some of the responses
crowd
at the
control
top
it.
from Japanese people. This one reading, instead of taking over Japanese works, he should create original manga with black protagonists. A rather
What?
upset response to that would read, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know they broke into the author's office, held him at gunpoint, and hijacked the manga, forcing for all the characters to be made black. It's one small piece of
Thank
art.
you.
Y'all are whining like losers for real."
Nah, say it.
To
He said y'all are whining like bitches for real. That's what he said. No sense
Yeah,
here shit
that's
now.
a fact.
which another Japanese person says,
That's
"Not
facts.
everything must be about you. Draw your own characters. If you change something, you want to make it better. Means you think original version is inferior. You invalidate Japanese people's feelings and call the art small.
You
don't
can
like
literally say that about anything, bro. So you're gonna tell everybody that's drawing your characters to draw their own characters?
You don't like it if we make black characters Asian, right? What is Killer B? What is your Richie?
Well, in this context, he's saying draw your own characters if you're gonna change your race, right?
I guess.
That's basically what he's saying. But I don't see any of this energy when it comes to them drawing Asian characters Caucasian.
Like if we make black characters
they're
Asian,
not.
right? Another one saying, honestly, I just want anime to be entertaining. The original creators are the ones who breathe life into the characters after all. And this one saying, the character that the author brought to life is removed, and someone else is introduced.
What are you talking about? What are they talking about? What are y'all talking? This was a fan art by a 16-year-old on Twitter. And the only reason this got popular is because y'all are racist. Racist, to be honest. That's the only reason. If y'all weren't so racist and just, let's say, y'all could have just liked the 16-year-old's post, left a comment saying you disagree with it, and this would have not got as big.
Well, if you were racist, you wouldn't even really care. You'd be like, ew, and then move on. You know what I mean? Like, if I see something I don't like, I'm gonna look at it and be like, gross, and then keep it moving.
Nobody
like I'm not gonna engage in it because then I have to talk about it longer or be around it longer if it bothers me that much.
Right. The voice actor did not get a petition signed to make Okarun black and have curly hair. It was fan art from a 16-year-old. And the voice actor responded to y'all's racist tendencies on Twitter. Now you're talking about how the character that the author brought life to is removed and someone else is introduced.
But you know what's crazy about it? The author doesn't care. Like, did the author of Dawn the Dawn say, did the author feel disrespected and come out and say, oh, I don't like the author probably doesn't know this shit exists because that motherfucker is in Bali somewhere with a margarita as tall as that nigga is. Putting that shit backwards.
He said Molly. You think Japanese like margaritas?
I don't know, but I guarantee you homie's trying that shit out right now. He's like, damn!
Every time I get a Japanese drink from like a store like H Mart, like they're usually not sweet. I'd probably just have to find one. Japanese drinks are grown men.
People are weirdos, man.
Yeah. I would like people to understand that if they have no respect for the work, they should not get involved, and that excessive actions will only create further division.
Right.
So I wonder what was more excessive, the 16-year-old drawing the character how they wanted, or you getting 24K retweets for your racist tendencies. I wonder what was more excessive.
People to understand that if they have no respect for the work, they should not get involved, and that excessive action will only create further division. It seems like if the harassment and double standard stuff wasn't occurring for years, that the tensions would not be so high right now. And it's not even just Japanese people who are sick of the double standards. There's been a lot of people in the West of various demographics.
He's saying Japanese people, but he's literally only quoting one person. And we don't know whether the people who liked or retweeted that post was a majority Japanese people or just Americans.
So it's not like he went through 270K retweets and seen if all of them were Japanese people.
And not even that. You can just go look to see if they have Japanese names to see if a majority of them have Japanese names or American names.
American people have Japanese names.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true.
You don't even know if that guy's actually Japanese. It could be some weird fuck just saying the shit to try to prove a point that nobody really cares about. Now, I can't expect a child to not understand like that. You kind of got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. So like when she like turned her Twitter off, like it's unfortunate. You know, I'm glad that people were like coming to her aid, but like as far as the adults, like it's a little kid, dude. Like, are we serious? Fuck is the world coming to?
Serious.
Including lots of black people talking about how they're also sick of these double standards. That takes us to AJ's Blue Sky account where he says, I deactivated my Twitter so the racists have nothing to interact with. Don't worry, I'm fine, guys. As well as, yo boy will be back soon. Maybe he really did deactivate just because of these racist messages that he's referring to. However, when there's a tweet with over 100,000 likes from Japanese people calling for him to lose his job over the recent incident,
from Japanese
as well as other
people, you don't know if all of those likes are from Japanese people. You don't even know if the original person that said it is Japanese. I can make that same exact message by going to Google Translate and typing all of that and then putting it in there to try to prove a point so that people like you can make a video like this. God damn. Go interview them. Go to Japan and interview a Japanese person. And then if he says it, then you could say a Japanese person has said it. Or if you go around in the street and you interview 100 people and 85 to 90% of people all have the same, okay, well, now it looks like this is the popular opinion. Japanese people are saying this. You know what I'm saying? Some random fuck on Twitter said it. And we don't even, it could be some fat white dude that wants to be Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Digging up racist tweets that he had made in the past, it's caused a lot of people to speculate if he's just trying to dodge that stuff. As always, of course, come to your own conclusions. Something else that I find very interesting is that so far we've actually seen a lack of other voice actors defending AJ. Previously, during situations like this where a controversial situation is going viral in the VA space on social media, it would be very common to see a number of other voice actors also getting involved. And yet that doesn't seem to be the case right now. Let me know why you think that might be. Perhaps some of them are actually
not getting involved because they're looking at how weird you dumb American or us. Like I'm not an American.
He's talking about other American actors coming to his aid.
Why would they?
He's a black male. They don't give a fuck. I can almost guarantee you they can give two shit. He's in trouble. Figure it out yourself.
It's like he's
ignoring. If it was a small white woman, all hell would be breaking loose.
Well, Japanese are considered white in a few states in history, so they kind of consider themselves in this somewhat in the same category. I'm not gonna lie. It's really just colorism. That's all it is.
That's all it is colorism. That's why they're not gonna come out and help him. Why? And if somebody does come out and help him, it's gonna be other people that look like him.
Remember this guy who's giving the commentaries, ignoring the colorism that takes place not only in America but in Japan as well.
Well, he wouldn't know because I'm gonna assume that the dude he's not one of us, and that's not saying that you have to be one of us to understand it. I mean,
usually when you're not one of us, you choose not to go down that road willingly.
Just some of those people are willing to have the uncomfortable conversation. They're willing to look at stuff, on a broader scale.
Actually in disagreement with AJ, or maybe they see how many people in Japan are calling AJ out and they want to avoid that also potentially happening to them. Of course, there's also been this ongoing situation with SAG-AFTRA and general concerns that voice actors have about potentially being replaced by AI voices. So maybe now a lot of them are instead just trying to play things safe instead of getting involved in controversies like they used to, or at the very least dialing it back a bit. And lastly, regarding the person who made the Okarune Momo edit to begin with, there would be other concerns raised by various artists on Twitter. For example, this tweet got over 14,000 likes that reads, "So much controversy over this, but my concern is that they sell paintovers/edits of other people's art. Putting all the racism debate to aside, someone who steals art and sells getting 40k plus followers for it is just sad."
But is this the same person?
I don't know.
I think it might be, but that should be fine. Like, they drew it. It's like these animes are so popular. The whole reason why these laws in America exist is to protect not only the person, but the company as well. These characters are so popular that it wouldn't matter how they drew the characters. They're going to know where they're originally from.
What's being referred to is how that person apparently sells black edits for $15 a piece. A response saying, "Watching this dumpster fire unfold is just sad in general."
So I wonder if they would keep the same energy for people that like draw these characters half naked or like yaoi.
No, they don't, because you already answered it. It's colorism.
Yeah.
The reason why colorism exists is because dark is not attractive to those people. So it's a problem because this person is making the characters black and, having them sold or whatever the heck, right? Like as our own little art thing. And, usually people like us would be the ones to buy them, but obviously they're for anybody. But it's a problem because it's changing the characters to black and selling them, blah, 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 blah. But there can be somebody that can have that character with little to no clothes on at all. And you motherfuckers y'all would smash your fucking credit card through a table, pounding on the desk, trying to get that shit active.
When I get 02 half naked, even though she's a minor.
Yeah.
Or get Momo half naked, even though she's a minor.
Buy that. They don't even care about the grandma. They want Momo.
They want Momo.
People.
Oh my god.
Momo ain't got nothing that I want.
They created an of-age.
They
created an of-age character that literally looks sexually appealing for the adult audience.
Looks more
But I
sexist
go
or
on
most sexually
Instagram and I'm
appealing.
still seeing people draw Momo fully naked. Honestly, it was they were advertising their.
Not trying to see that at all,
I had
bro.
to unfollow that shit, bro.
Yeah, that shit is not it, bro.
Sending love to the animators because I never saw anyone talk about this. To which the OP says people are blinded by hatred, and of course, no one has any respect for animators because it's quote unquote official art. As if it just magically appears and people don't work on it for hours. The other person saying, the more you think about this whole situation, the more things come to mind. No hate, of course. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear magically, and they have to work on it for hours and then get overlooked constantly. People attempting to find a middle ground here somewhat. As another response reads, OP can draw. I slid through the media thinking the same thing because let's be real, that's an edit, not a fan art. Hopefully she sells art and not edits. Fan arts are more appreciated than edits. And the OP ending by saying, very talented kid. I really hope they start making originals and sell those.
I wonder, is that a thing? Or
What?
this person claimed that fan art is more appreciated than edit.
Well, that's not necessarily a fact. It's based off of preference. He might think so, but it's based off of preference.
I'm not in this art world. Lena, do you think fan art is more appreciated than edit in general in like the art community? Do you think people appreciate fan art more than edits?
Yes, because most of the time fan art will be something that you drew from scratch. There's genuine effort put in a lot of edits, but a lot of edits will be like just changing minimum things about a pre-exist like an already existing sprite of the character. It's like I'd rather have you draw like the characters with a whole different pose and thing you came up with than the sprite that already exists. It'll look cool as a profile picture, but if you're trying to, I don't know, sell it, then people will probably go for the fan art.
And by edit, and what counts as an edit? Is an edit like you drawing from scratch? Or is an edit more like you taking the picture and then just recoloring it and drawing over it a little bit?
Yeah, an edit would be more like drawing over a screenshot of the show or a sprite of a certain character and then like adding your.
What if it has the same pose?
Hmm?
What if it has the same pose?
What, the edit or the fan
Oh, well, I'm trying to classify it really.
art?
Freaking
More of a visual.
headphones just got cooked.
Like for example, there's a photo right here actually.
There we go. Okay, I'm back.
This photo here, yes.
Okay, so this is an edit, and you can tell that the person that did it can draw because they like redid.
Can draw.
Because there's some like, and that's kind of what I wrote to you, that there's genuine effort put into this. Like it's a whole reinterpretation of the thing, but you can tell that it's taken from a screenshot of the show.
All right, yeah. You have to kind of watch the show.
Yeah, like to have an idea, of course, but like if you saw like a drawing, on someone's like, I guess their own art style of this exact same thing, and they use the pose as a reference. I guess there's a bit more merit into that, and people can't really. A lot of people will still get mad regardless, but people can't really hop and say that you're like changing their show because you could even make the shit pass as an OC if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really have an issue with neither because both of these, like, whether it's an edit of a screenshot or like a whole fan art, both of them are usually made in a form of appreciation for the show. Most like edits I've seen for other races.
I'd argue the biggest reason is because one, the show's popular and trendy right now, and as you can see, this artist is selling art, so it's easy sales, especially to those who it appeals to. That's what I'd argue. Not saying they don't appreciate the show.
Yeah, like me personally, I wouldn't necessarily go for an edit. I guess a lot of people won't be able to tell that this was probably taken from like a specific screenshot. Or
They wouldn't. Oh yeah, like okay, yeah.
Yeah, they would think like it's not everyone like would realize that. I personally wouldn't invest in an edit because I'd rather like see you draw, even if it's the same characters and it's your interpretation of them from scratch, because art style and stuff. Um, but if this is something people prefer, I also can see like the genuine effort put, like there's rendering into this whole thing. They didn't just put like the bucket option and painted them in a different color.
Yeah, there's shading.
Yeah, it's a whole rendered picture.
But then again, they literally says black edit under it.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Wait, okay, wait. I got a question for you guys.
Interesting.
So you guys are saying that this is not an edit
Well,
because this is an actual pose. And
yes,
scene
it.
from the
Yeah,
show.
that's what. Yeah. So technically, it. Yeah, that's what. I guess the person who's making this video is saying that it is an edit because it's literally a pose and scene from the show, and all he did, well, he changed the race basically. But that's why I brought Lena here because an edit is, I guess, traditionally seen as being traced over. And based on how this is drawn, this is definitely not something that was traced over. All you did, we can assume that the person used this scene as a reference.
Because like they might have used the screenshot as a base, but they still rendered the whole thing.
Meaning it still took a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It wasn't lazy.
Because I've seen edits that will just change like the skin color, regardless of what like race they're trying to appeal. But this, they even added like some extra details.
And even then, the people claiming this is erasing Japanese people. It's like no one's seeing this and liking it more than the original.
Even if people liked it more than the original, this doesn't mean that the Japanese media is gonna stop existing as soon as this comes out. Like they're acting like as these are coming out, all of a sudden people are developing dementia and forgetting that the anime ever existed.
You know what? You know what's crazy, bro? You know what's crazy, Giancarlo? If we went with their logic, black people could literally say the same thing about the South Koreans using their music as samples.
Yeah, the South Koreans are gonna be like, the Japanese people, that Japanese person is the one that was messing with you. Why you say fuck me for?
Like that's why I have such a big issue with Genshin Impact, for example. Like when they use that little girl on she's like skating and doing a little dance. They took that whole dance thing from a black girl. They didn't credit her. They didn't mention who she was. That is actually taking like something from a community and pretending that community doesn't exist and making sure that your depiction up to your standards, it's the one that like makes it further. But
I mean,
all of a
shit,
sudden,
that's the
when that,
entire
like,
area of
the tables, when the roles were reversed, all of a sudden it was like, oh, y'all want to get mad about everything. She's just using it as a reference. That's what people were using it to defend it. That they only used it as reference.
Imagine if we came out and said, you're erasing our culture, you're erasing our people. Don't do that.
And that's when people wanted to justify. Let me see if I can find that. It was one of the not.
And that isn't a character, that's literally a real person, not a fictional character from an animation.
Like, all of a sudden people are understanding how a reference works and how it's only being used for like the movements and maybe not necessarily because it's a black girl. But if it was the other way around and someone took this character and made her black, they'd be like, we can't have shit.
And you know, it's crazy because this is literally, not only did they take the animation, but like the colors, except for skin color, of course, you know.
Yeah,
they won't go that far.
But like, they quickly brought us from her for those movements, but now all of a sudden, it's just reference, and she shouldn't be credited for that because people are exaggerating.
You saying that Michael Jackson, who invented the moon, walks on it now? No, that's not what they're saying at all. Where is all this energy? Where is all this energy with that post, bro? Y'all cannot make this shit up. Didn't this happen the same? This happened this year, didn't it?
Yeah. Earlier this year.
This happened this
Not
year.
only came out this year.
Y'all switched up your ideologies that quick. Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Oh my god.
It's
You
crazy,
can go
brother.
through those comments. All these comments is mostly people asking why would she be credited.
That guy is talking about hypocrites. We're watching it in real time. This is 4D thinking right here. This is literally 4D. We're watching the hypocrisy happen live, and I'm gonna edit this video down hopefully to like 20 minutes. You're gonna like, this is 4D. We're watching the hypocrisy happen in 4D. Cannot make this up.
Because I get mostly the comments in Spanish. A lot of people are saying like it doesn't even look alike.
What doesn't look alike?
This, they're saying that it doesn't even look like it, that people are just being delusional. The
Right.
hand movements match, everything matches. Like,
Find any other Caucasian or Asian person that does this with the same color scheme and basically.
there's everything. And this is a character that skates too. It's not a coincidence.
They literally skating. Like, you can't make this. The least they could have done is make the character look more like her. That's the least they could have done.
Someone said, I just read it. She's a random. She should be grateful because thanks to Genshin Impact, she was going to be known.
Right.
What?
That was one of the comments.
She's known because she had to let people know that she's the original creator of this.
And I had seen the video of her before this whole
What the
thing
hell?
happened. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like her whole form of content. That's probably why they found it that easily. But
Like, most of the Genshin fans aren't looking at that and thinking, "Oh, this is a black chick that does her skate dance." No, and it's not this. That's why it's not the same as what's going on with this whole fiasco with the blackifying characters, because no one's gonna forget that Okarun is Japanese because some 16-year-old who wasn't even famous on Twitter drew them the way they wanted to draw them.